Doing a little trip down memory lane today. We are, me and my son are making about a 30-mile little four-wheeler ride out in some old irrigation country north of Floyd, where my dad was raised and where I was basically raised farming in the irrigated little belt here, and where there's hardly any water left at all, and a lot of it's abandoned. So, kind of a trip down memory lane, and we're looking at some haygrazer, some sorghum Sudan that we're gonna cut and bale for a neighbor of mine. So, anyway, thank you for joining us, and hey, hope you enjoy. Coming into the old estuary, home place. Big deer. That's where the house used to be. Andrew. But when I was a kid, the house was right here, and there was a little bitty shed where they first lived, and then there was the corrals. And here's that little old cinder block garage, and then the Quonset. Anyway, let's drive around over here by this barn. We're not gonna get into nothing. We're just gonna look around. The old corrals. Still standing today, Granddad. Drew, your granddaddy used to work in there all the time. Uncle Bob and Uncle Herschel and Uncle Joe. Still had water on it, there'd still be people living here. Probably estuaries. Or been as we run out of water. ghost town now. It's kind of sad. Obalala no mas. No more water. These are all abandoned. It's just a shame. When I was a kid, we had peanuts right here. I was working for a farmer who had peanuts right here and just making buku crops and didn't think it was ever going to run out. And you can see here some of the old pipe and all. And it went down to a little sub, and then they just abandoned it. So it's just sad, just sad. And I consider myself young. So, you know, and it happened in my lifetime when I was, you know, adult. So it's kind of sad. You know, kind of a thing of the past. You know, you sit here and look at this old diesel tank, old electrical lines. You know, that's just the past. People used to go out here and put these little 300-gallon tanks, 500-gallon tanks out here right next to their little old farm. You know, they might have 10 of them are laying around. You know, the fuel companies used to come around here and fill them up all the time. I mean, they had orders all week, just constantly. Now, you know, my tractor will hold that much gallons, and it's just, you know, it's just a thing of a past. Just an old relic, ghost town. You know, like that circle right there, best peanuts in the world. Here's a circle that I baled. I baled wheat here this spring. You know, it's still farmed, part of the same farm, but anyway. Just run out of water. Just run out of water and want to, I think. But mainly water. I mean, it still could be dryland farmed, but anyway, that's what it is. All that green is my dad's old set of circles. We're fixing to go into territory I hadn't went into in years. Last time I was here, I was probably a senior in high school. So, it's been a long time. You can see the gray in my beard, how long it's been. Yeah, I hadn't been here since I was probably a senior in high school, if not before, but this is my dad's old irrigation well. He drilled it back in probably the mid 70s. Used to make like 800 gallons a minute. There's the old generator stand. We used to have to generate our own power here. And the sprinkler was put here back in 78. It's a 10-tire Gifford Hill. And before that, he had the South Circle too, and he would tow the sprinkler back and forth all the time, and irrigate both. He'd have like one of milo, one of wheat, and he'd just kind of get tow them back every year. But shooting back, well, the early 90s, we started running out of water. We started running out of water in the 80s, but you know, he sold it like in 91, 92, about the year I graduated, and that guy farmed it for a couple of years after that, and then boom, he couldn't even get water to the top of the ground to water cattle, and it just went poof after that, and no water left. So the guy here that's farming this is a friend of mine. Went to high school with him and his wife. Got a nice patch of haygrazer here for the year we've had, and he's got a lot more rain. We had a lot more rain here than we did at my house. We just missed it by about 3 miles. It kind of tipped me the other day, and I got about 7/10 on one farm and 3 at the other, but they got like 1.5 inches, or like 2.5 inches right here. It's just like crazy. But yeah, it's just kind of sad, that old pivot. I'm showing my young son just a little old history lesson of this country. You know, it's kind of sad. This is the north pivot of our old sprinklers. So. Here's the South Circle. I think the well was right out there. I don't know. It's covered up with dirt now. There ain't no water in it anyway. It's sad. It used to be 600 gallons a minute here when I was a kid. Had this old sprinkler was put here in 73, I think. Had overhead impact, and you can still see the overhead wobble heads that Dad put on. But it had overhead impacts on it when I was a kid. Used to play in the milo, the sorghum, and you could hear that old water hitting them old leaves and chasing you. And my mom used to have a garden from this pivot south, about 8 rows all the way. And man, everybody in the whole community used to come over here and get cantaloupe and okra and squash and watermelon and I don't know what all down them 8 rows all the way to the pivot there, or all the way to the road there. Little sprinkler put here in '73 and it's still standing. Hadn't moved in 30 years, probably 25. So just kind of sad to see the old pivot. I mean, I remember those lights on lit up at night, coming over and check it with my dad. Oh well, don't even know where it's at. I mean, I know where it's at, but used to have a GMC, a V6 GMC industrial engine right here on natural gas. Used to sit here and just running all the time, pumping water. Used to have the two pivots connected together, so they're at the end, so we could run one pivot at a time there at the end. But you know, when I was a kid, we'd running both of them at the same time. I mean, 100 bushel wheat and woolly dog, we used to call them, because it'd lay down. Just kind of a lost deal now. It's kind of a ghost town. Mother Molly and Baby Molly is buried right here. Used to be a little town right here at this grove of trees behind me, and right here, called Langston. Back in the mid to late 1800s. And the story is that Mother Molly and Baby Molly was in a covered wagon going to church or going to town right here at this little Langston town. And it was cold and blowing, and she had Baby Molly, don't even know if it's named yet, wrapped up in a blanket, and she smothered her. And she felt so heartbroken that you know, she later died, the mother did. Anyway, when I was a kid, it's a shame to see it right here, but when I was a kid, there was two perfectly good little old gravestones and graves that's marked. I mean, you could see it, Baby Molly and Mother Molly. And I'm glad nobody has plowed up the trees, because they'd be plowing over graves. And because there's two graves here, and don't even know where the gravestones are now. But I'm sure, you know, it needs to be you know, dug up a little bit so you can see the gravestones. But it's just sad. But anyway, yeah, that's a little story here. This little group of trees out here in the middle of my dad's south circle. So I remember plowing around them my whole life out here, and I don't know if we ever trimmed the trees, but they always went under the sprinkler. So, but it was kind of a sad little story. I remember it. But little town of Langston, I believe it was. So anyway, Mother Molly and Baby Molly. School baseball and football field. Here is the concession stand. Baseball field wasn't used last spring. My boy should be playing his senior year of football right here. That boy there should be playing his freshman year of football there. We're not. COVID. Just a shame. Just a shame. We won't get into that. Well, thank you for watching. That's all of our little trip down memory lane. Me and Andrew's little trip. We drove almost 30 miles.
Yes, sir.
On the four-wheelers. So we had fun, didn't we, Drew?
Yeah.
You saw a lot of old stuff, didn't you?
Mm-hmm.
Man, it sure had changed a lot since I was your age. I mean, you know, things had really changed a lot.
Thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, then I bet you'll like our others. So why don't you go subscribe and hit that notification bell, and we will see you next time.